Have you ever looked at your daily meals and thought I eat pretty normal? Nothing extreme. So my kidneys should be fine, only to discover years later that your kidney function has quietly dropped without you ever feeling a thing. Because here's the truth that should concern you. Many people in the US are not losing their kidney health from rare diseases or obvious bad habits, but from the exact foods they eat every single day, foods that feel harmless, routine, even healthy. And by the time the warning signs show up, fatigue, swelling, waking up multiple times at night to urinate, the damage is often already well underway. I'm Dr. Mark Ellis, and after years of working with patients who were completely blindsided by declining kidney function, I can tell you this with certainty: kidney damage doesn't usually begin with something dramatic. It begins quietly, consistently, and almost invisibly through small daily choices that slowly overload your body's most delicate filtration system. But here's the part most people never hear, and the reason you need to stay with me until the end, because today I'm going to show you exactly which everyday foods are silently putting pressure on your kidneys, why they're far more dangerous than they seem, and most importantly, how you can adjust your habits starting today, without giving up the meals you love or turning your life upside down. And there is one particular group of foods, something millions of Americans consume almost every day, that may be doing more harm than anything else. And most people have absolutely no idea it's happening. If there's one habit I would ask you to pay attention to starting today, it's this: how much salt is quietly entering your body every single day, often without you even realizing it. Because salty processed foods are not just about taste, they are one of the fastest ways to put constant pressure on your kidneys. Think about a typical meal, maybe some soup that's a little too flavorful, a piece of fish that's been marinated well, and just a small dip of soy sauce or fish sauce on the side. It doesn't feel excessive. In fact, it feels completely normal. But here's the hidden problem: just 1 tablespoon of common sauces can contain nearly half of your recommended daily sodium intake. And when these layers add up in a single meal, your kidneys are suddenly forced to work overtime to maintain balance in your blood. I remember a patient of mine, Mr. Harris, 68 years old. He lived a relatively healthy life. He didn't smoke, rarely drank, stayed active. But every morning he had one simple habit: leftovers with salted condiments, because as he told me, food just doesn't taste right without it. Years passed without any obvious warning signs, until one routine checkup revealed something unexpected. His creatinine levels had quietly risen, and his blood pressure had been elevated for years without noticeable symptoms. From a medical perspective, this makes perfect sense. Excess sodium causes your body to retain water, which increases blood pressure. And over time, that pressure damages the tiny blood vessels inside your kidneys, the very filters responsible for removing waste from your body. According to global health guidelines, consuming more than 5 grams of salt per day significantly increases the risk of kidney and cardiovascular damage. Yet many people unknowingly double that amount. The most concerning part is not the occasional salty meal. It's the repetition. Day after day, year after year, your kidneys are being pushed just a little harder than they should be. And like any overworked system, they don't fail. Suddenly they wear down quietly. The good news is, even a small reduction, cutting your salt intake by just 25 to 30% over a few weeks, can begin to stabilize blood pressure and reduce the strain on your kidneys. Many patients report sleeping better, feeling lighter, even noticing less swelling. But here's the reality most people miss. Salt is only the beginning, because there is another hidden factor far less obvious, far more deceptive, that may be putting even greater stress on your kidneys every single day. And most people never see it coming. Now, if salt was the obvious pressure, this next factor is far more dangerous precisely because it hides in plain sight. Most people don't taste it, don't notice it, and worse, they often believe these foods are actually good for them. I'm talking about hidden phosphates in processed foods. You'll find them in things like sausages, deli meats, processed cheese, packaged bread, flavored milk powders, even some fortified products marketed for bone health. They're added to improve texture, extend shelf life, and enhance flavor. But inside your body, they behave very differently. I remember a patient, Mrs. Collins, 71 years old. She was careful with her diet. She reduced sugar, avoided greasy food, and every morning she drank a calcium-fortified milk and had a couple slices of soft white bread. She truly believed she was protecting her bones and staying healthy. But after several months, she began experiencing persistent fatigue and lower back discomfort. When we ran tests, her phosphate levels were elevated, and imaging revealed early kidney stone formation. Here's what many people don't realize. Phosphate additives are absorbed almost completely up to 90 to 100% compared to natural sources which are absorbed much more slowly and in smaller amounts. That means your body gets flooded with excess phosphorus much faster than it can handle. Over time, this disrupts calcium balance, leading to mineral deposits not just in the kidneys, but also in blood vessels. This process increases the risk of kidney stones, vascular damage, and long-term kidney decline. What makes this even more concerning is that phosphate additives often appear under different names on labels: phosphoric acid, sodium, phosphate, or codes like E339 to E341, so unless you're actively looking, you'll never notice them. The solution doesn't require extreme dieting. It starts with awareness. Choosing foods closer to their natural form, fresh meat instead of processed whole grain, instead of refined white bread, simple dairy instead of heavily fortified products, can significantly reduce your phosphate load. Even taking a few seconds to read ingredient labels can make a powerful difference over time. And if you've ever thought, I'm eating healthier now, so I should be safe, this is exactly where many people get caught off guard. But here's the moment you need to pause and really pay attention. Because what's coming next is even more common, even more addictive, and far more damaging than most people are willing to admit. But knowing this alone is still not enough, because there is another factor even more dangerous. And just when most people start cutting back on salt and avoiding processed foods, they unknowingly replace those habits with something that feels lighter, more refreshing, and completely harmless. But this is where the real trap begins: sugary drinks. Soft drinks, sweetened teas, energy drinks, even some bottled health beverages. These are not just empty calories. They are one of the most underestimated threats to your kidneys, especially because they go down so easily and become part of a daily routine without a second thought. I remember a patient, Mr. Daniels, 65 years old. He had recently stopped drinking coffee because of stomach discomfort and proudly told me he had switched to soda, instead just 1 can a day, sometimes 2. It's lighter, he said, easier on my body. But after nearly 2 years of this habit, he began feeling unusually fatigued, noticed puffiness around his eyes in the morning, and his nighttime trips to the bathroom increased. When we checked his labs, his creatinine had nearly doubled, and his kidney filtration rate had dropped significantly. Here's what's happening behind the scenes. A single 12-ounce soda can contains around 35 to 40 grams of sugar, much of it in the form of fructose. Unlike glucose, fructose is metabolized primarily in the liver, where it rapidly increases the production of uric acid. Elevated uric acid doesn't just affect joints, it also damages the tiny blood vessels in your kidneys, triggering low-grade inflammation that builds up over time. Several studies have shown that individuals who consume sugary beverages daily have a significantly higher risk of developing chronic kidney disease compared to those who don't. And the danger is not immediate, it's cumulative. One drink feels harmless, but repeated every day for months, for years, it quietly accelerates kidney damage. The solution here isn't about sudden restriction, it's about smart substitution. Replacing sugary drinks with water, herbal tea, or even diluted natural beverages can reduce the metabolic burden almost immediately. And a simple habit, drinking a glass of water after any sweet drink, can help your body process that sugar more efficiently. So if you've ever thought it's just a drink, it can't be that serious, this is the moment to rethink that belief. But even now, there's still one more factor, one that often sits right on your plate, golden, crispy, and incredibly tempting. And it may be the final piece pushing your kidneys beyond their limit. But knowing this alone is still not enough, because there is another factor even more dangerous. And now we come to the final piece, something that doesn't just quietly harm your kidneys, but actively accelerates damage in a way most people never suspect. It's not hidden in labels, it's not disguised as healthy. In fact, it's right there on your plate, golden, crispy, and incredibly satisfying. I'm talking about fried foods. From fried chicken and French fries to crispy snacks and pan-fried dishes, these foods are deeply embedded in everyday eating habits. And because they taste so good, it's easy to believe that eating just a little won't make a difference. But this is exactly where the danger builds, slowly, repeatedly, and almost invisibly. I once treated a patient, Mr. Lewis, 70 years old, who often told me I don't eat much fried food, just a few bites with each meal. And that was true. He never overindulged in one sitting, but those few bites repeated day after day for years told a different story. He began experiencing fatigue, unstable blood pressure, and swelling in his legs. When we examined his kidney function, it had declined far more than expected for his age. Here's why this happens. When oils are heated to high temperatures, especially when reused, they produce oxidized fats and free radicals. These compounds trigger inflammation in the body, particularly in the delicate blood vessels of the kidneys. Over time, this low-grade inflammation damages the filtration system, reducing its ability to remove waste effectively. And it doesn't stop there. Fried foods are often combined with high sodium and additives, creating a triple burden: fat, salt, and chemical stress, all hitting your kidneys at once. Studies have linked frequent consumption of fried foods to higher risks of hypertension, metabolic disorders, and chronic kidney decline. The key here is not complete elimination, but smarter preparation. Switching from deep frying to baking, steaming, or light sautéing can dramatically reduce harmful compounds while still preserving flavor. Even cutting your fried food intake in half can begin to ease the load on your kidneys within weeks. So the next time you see that perfectly crispy dish, it's worth asking yourself, is this just a moment of taste or a long-term cost your body will have to pay? Because when you step back and look at the bigger picture, salt, hidden additives, sugar, and fried foods, you begin to see a pattern. These aren't rare dangers, they are everyday habits. And the real question is, how do we break that cycle before it's too late? If you've stayed with me until this moment, I want you to know something important. This is not about fear, and it's not about perfection. It's about awareness and small, consistent changes that can protect your kidneys for years to come. You don't have to overhaul your entire life overnight. Even reducing a little salt, cutting back on sugary drinks, choosing fresher foods, or changing the way you cook just a few meals each week can begin to take pressure off your kidneys. Your body is incredibly responsive when you give it the chance to recover. And if today's message resonated with you, if you recognized even one of these habits in your daily routine, please do something simple but powerful. Save this video so you can come back to it whenever you need a reminder. And consider subscribing to the channel, because I'll continue sharing practical science-based guidance to help you protect your kidney health, manage blood pressure, and make smarter choices without confusion or extremes. Because at the end of the day, your kidneys don't ask for attention. They just quietly work for you every single day. And the choices you make now, starting with your next meal, can determine whether they continue to serve you well for years or struggle in silence. It's never too early and never too late to take back control of your health. Take care of your kidneys, and they will take care of you.